Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
Notice he's not fucking trying.
Yeah. I thought tonight standing up for myself, but then I thought, you know what? Why not just let me? I don't know.
Actually, on that note, let's go ahead and get started because it's actually really relevant to what we're talking about tonight. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Geeky, gentlemen. I am Sid Part 2. Joining me today is Melanjeptic 1992 and Zazubar. Hello, gentlemen.
What's up?
I'm a sentient muffin once again.
Oh, that joke's played out now.
That's his new intro.
It was funny once, and now it's not funny.
I don't get it. Is it a reference to something I'm not familiar with, or?
No, you don't
No,
understand.
it was random as shit and funny that time.
No, it's just... No, you don't understand. I am literally a sentient muffin.
I see.
So two muffins are in an oven, and one muffin says to the other, "Oh my god, we're in an oven, we're gonna die!" And the other muffin says, "Holy fuck, a talking muffin."
Oh. That's how it happened.
That's pretty good.
That's
That's a good first foot to start the show off on, Ian. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's an old joke. But anyway, so today, we're talking about a comic that Milan, picked, and the name of this comic is Transmetropolitan, and it is written by Warren Ellis, and to jump right into the review, being someone that has listened to Warren Ellis' Crooked Little Vein, I'm going to tell you all that this man excels at making the very strange, very weird, very off-putting seem completely normal. And that is why I believe Milan has some kind of sick love for him.
Here's the thing. When I read this book, the first two issues, I closed my laptop and I said to myself, if someone ever did a biographical comic book about who Milan is on the inside, I think Warren Ellis might have written it without knowing who Milan is, because, dude, your personality and your viewpoint on the world is all over this fucking book. So it is not surprising to me at all that you chose it, because I was like, wow, this is like Milan's life just written by Warren Ellis.
I don't know how I should feel about that. I sincerely don't.
You should have a face about you of a confused flattery.
So it's just terrified flattery, I guess.
Yeah, you should be scared.
I'm scared somewhat, but at the same time flattered.
Yeah, exactly.
But personally, I thought the Spider Jerusalem. We'll just get right into it. He's basically a gonzo journalist in the far-off, wacky future.
Right.
And he hates everything and everyone except the truth. And yeah.
And that's his only life philosophy is, I just want the truth and that's it. I don't care about anything else. I don't care what the impacts are, I just want the truth.
Yep.
He's not in any way, shape, or form a social crusader or some kind of heroic journalist trying to, make the society better. He doesn't give a fuck about the rest of society. All he wants to do is be like, listen, this stone, turn it over. Let's see what's underneath. And that makes for a fascinating book.
He's kind of like the character opposite of Superman, yet in the same occupation.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's just like Superman chose journalism because it allows him to do things as Clark Kent that he's unable to do as Superman without crossing a certain line. Like, exposing Lex Luthor and stuff like that.
Right.
This guy has chosen journalism because it's the only weapon he has.
Right.
He's got guns and stuff, but he's obviously not that good with it.
No, the thing with this guy, he has a weapon, a physical weapon, but it's actually just a bowel disruptor.
I love that. That was so fucking cool.
Oh yes, he tends to
The
point.
president shit his pants.
I love how they announce it, just to all Secret Service operatives, the president just shat himself. That was a great issue.
Oh god.
Oh, man.
If I may return us, well, actually, I want to start off somewhere else. This book was actually on my forthcoming shortlist about trades I've been wanting to pick up in terms of these giant, stories and runs that everyone talks about, but I haven't read. And it was on my shortlist because I keep hearing people talking about it, but I had no idea what it was. So I was like, all right, I better check it out. But currently, I'm reading Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, so it kind of got pushed aside for a little bit. But then you said we're going to review it, so I was like, okay, perfect. So now I have this venue to read it in, and it was not the book I thought it was going to be. I don't know.
It was gonna be.
I don't know. I had this weird preconceived notion about it that it was somehow going to be really, really realistic and serious. And it is neither of those. I mean, it doesn't take itself seriously. It is definitely, I think it could definitely be labeled as kind of satire. And it's dark, but it's so fucking colorful. The darkness is a lot more in the content than the actual visual style. I suppose the word I was looking for was gritty. It's not. It isn't at all. It's very, very colorful and vibrant and totally alien to anything you could expect. And I don't know why I thought that, but I had that weird notion in my head.
This book really does. It just screams 2000 AD.
You mean the book with Judge Dredd in it?
Oh yeah, Judge. This just screams 2000 AD because if you check, everybody knows about 2000 AD. The main thing that they can pick out is Judge Dredd. But the other stories, the science fiction stories, I think this is Warren Ellis taking the sensibilities of 2000 AD and just working with them for American comics. It's rather great. It's a great book that.
I was trying to think of a way to describe what this book is.
Yeah, me too.
It's Dark Knight Returns without Batman.
No, that's actually kind of where I was going. It's like Dark Knight Returns meets Futurama.
Yeah.
and that's really the closest I can get to it because it's got that gritty, just fuck all attitude, but it's got this ridiculous level of technology that people with this kind of attitude should never have.
You know what it kind of strikes me as? It's kind of a romp in a comic book universe without a superhero. You know what I mean? It feels like it could be a superhero universe, it just doesn't have them. And our character is a normal human living in this fucked up world. And I think that allows you to kind of... Because again, Spider Jerusalem is in no way a social crusader. No. So it kind of allows you to explore the universe and go through the story without kind of a direction. And there is definitely an overarching plot, though it doesn't really bring it up through most of the issues. It kind of just romps around this world. Again, he's not trying to save anybody. He's not trying to change anything. He's just trying to explore. And it made it a very interesting read. Let me say this, I love this book. I really enjoyed it. So I thought that was a really cool direction to take it.
Oh, yeah. This book starts with basically Spider Jerusalem, kind of alone in his shack in the mountains looking up. I'm sure not... He looks like Alan Moore in the beginning of the book.
I knew you were going to say that. He does look like Alan Moore.
Oh yeah, just this crazy old hermit in the mountains, just covered in shit. And his editor calls him and he says, "You owe us 2 books, contractually speaking."
It's his publisher, not
It's his publisher, yeah. And basically, if you don't write us our 2 books, we'll sue you. And so he has to come down from the mountain like an old sage into the city and, write them their 2 books. But, he gets a job at a newspaper to pay the bills. And so it's a very simple setup, but it's a simple setup for a really great joke.
Yeah.
That involves dead babies and alien things.
As most great jokes do.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it's such a simple way to introduce us to the character, and honestly, it's a stroke of genius to slowly bring the city into it.
Yeah.
Because at first it's this perfect little wilderness area, and there's nothing really going on.
Perfect? Are you kidding me, dude? He says like, oh, I have bombs and fucking landmines set up all over.
Well, no, I mean, but it's
let me explain
serene...
Yeah, but and then
No, dude, it's this wilderness area. It's perfectly normal, is what I was getting at. It seems perfectly everyday, and the things he's saying about it sound like it's just him ranting like a crazy person.
Right, I mean, you definitely...
It sound like it's all 100% true.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
Some
And then
ladies nailing like dead squirrels to my door again.
Yeah, but like you don't know if that's actually the case because you don't see a dead squirrel nailed to his door. So anyway, so he drives down from this mountain that looks like a normal mountain. Like if I go out of town and drive far enough, I could probably find a place that looks like that. And then he starts entering the city on a freeway, and you're like, okay, it looks a little futuristic. And then it goes crazy, and you start seeing aliens protesting on television and shit. It's like, wow.
The transients.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's a really great progression for the visual style of the book because, again, the wilderness is not normal, especially with how he describes it being like, he has all these turrets and shit set up to keep people away, and it's very isolated. I think that was more of the point, was isolation.
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing about the city is how fucking crowded it is and how tight everything is. I mean, it's big, but there's so many people in it and so many ideas. Like, they open almost every issue with a wide shot of the city, with a cityscape kind of, whether or not it be street level. And you just see how busy it is. It's a bombardment of like, signs and different people and different ideas. There's so many jokes on all of those pages. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah, and just this big Where's Waldo page of
just
exactly. Bad shit. Crazy-ass shit.
It's this great distinction.
Oh, yeah, totally. One more thing before I forget it. I'm looking at this page on my iPad, and the sign outside the titty bar is a weird play with perspective, because, like, when you look down at it, it looks like it's not that big. But in another part of the book, it's gigantic, and so it's like, that giant sign outside the titty bar is literally giant.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which is cool. And just, Spider Jerusalem has a comic book, as a comic book, just some of the panels in this story is just, he just says some really iconic things in some really iconic panels, and it's just like, that's cool.
Yeah, and actually, what worked for me about this is it's not entirely because Spider Jerusalem is, if nothing else, a character.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if this is as much a character-based story. Let's take these 10 issues as one story, but even though they're not. I don't know if this is much a character-based thing as it is a metaphor platform for Warren Ellis to stand on and yell things.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
He exaggerates it certainly.
Of a comic book.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know me. I love my metaphor-based fiction, and he does a really good job of taking some fascinating things. I think my favorite issue is the one dealing with the people waking up from cryogenic sleep.
Oh, yeah.
I find that really fascinating. I like that we get to read his article. That's what we're seeing, is we're reading his article over this woman's life.
Right, that was brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, and in that, it seems like it's a commentary on the city in this fictional universe, but really, it's a commentary on our views of the past. We don't really care about what happened to people in the past, And that's a really interesting perspective, and he does a great job with it.
Right. Go ahead, Juan.
The thing with this story and about the character of Mr. Spider Jerusalem is that he is a cunt, but he's a cunt with a heart. And it's terrifying that he has one.
Totally.
It's just like, oh yeah, I'm looking at this panel here. Here, let me read it to you. I hear Kendo drum, comes from the Japanese island a few blocks south. The sound of a village gathering its people its people home for the night, lighting up the streets as the nightclub gates melt open. And just below it is just a really epic, very iconic picture of that's just how this works. It's just pictures of spiders saying profound things and yelling at people. That's what this book is.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think that's what makes the setup so brilliant, because whoa, tongue-tied. In some other book, we might be able to criticize this as not a lot of story, but a whole lot of ranting. But here's why it works here, because the setup makes it like that's all this book has to do, because that's all the character wants to do. It's all in the setup, because you open with essentially this blank slate of a character, because he hasn't spoken to anyone in 5 years, and hasn't had sex with anyone in 5 years, as we learn later. And it allows us to rediscover, but also discover this character as he rediscovers himself by interacting with society. Yeah. And that really, again, that makes it okay to allow him to rant and to, bitch about these social problems, because that's what the character would do, and that's all the character has to do, because there's no other plot aside from that. He's got to write 2 books, and he's got to work for this newspaper. And how is he going to do that? He's going to do that by doing what Warren Ellis wants to do. And, again,
running around bald with a bowel disruptor.
Yes, that's what Warren Ellis wants to do.
What?
When Warren Ellis was in elementary school and they asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a crazy bald man with weird glasses that runs around.
I want to make a movie about Warren Ellis' life, and that's just what we're going to open up on. It's a scene of this picturesque elementary school, and the teacher's just going down the hallway, going down the rows and asking kids that question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she finally gets to this kid, and we zoom in on the name on the desk, and it says Warren Ellis, and she just says, I want to be a bald man who runs around and rants with these multicolored glasses. And then we just
those are cool fucking glasses, by the way.
No,
those are some cool-ass glasses.
Yeah.
They take pictures and shit. That's awesome.
That was genius. That was another thing he used really well based on the setting, because you've got this, journalist who's just running around, again, ranting and fucking exposing truth. He really doesn't need a photographer, and he couldn't really have one who could keep up with him.
Yeah.
And it allows you to kind of get away with not having him constantly snapping pictures, because he just has these glasses. And they don't even constantly say whether or not he has to actually say the word take picture, although they kind of do that later on, but they do a visual for it where the screen goes purple, and that happens every so often, so they keep it consistent.
Yeah, I mean, they show it when they want to show it. Bill, I'm echoing a bit.
Alright, let me pull my headphones in.
Mute your mic in the meantime. Yeah, I really do like just some of the crazy things that he does in this. My favorite issue ended up being the issue where he with cryogenics, but the one I thought would be my favorite once I finished reading it was the one where he basically just became Jesus tearing down the market.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I love that, where he just goes around debunking all these wacky-ass cults.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, it's a really interesting commentary on what our society has done, and just so recently after the 2012 election here, it was one of those things I just found really odd. The Onion, I think, had my favorite take on it, where it was like 2 weeks before the election, and everyone's pretending that Mitt Romney being a Mormon is okay, and it's not freaky at all. It's like, and the narrator of the video is just talking, it's like, and it's not like the religion's considered crazy for all these years. No, now everyone's just pretending it's okay, and it's not a problem, that he's a perfectly normal, sane, rational human being. And that's what it's become. It's really hard to call something a cult now.
Right. Because
so much religion is just accepted at this point. And, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with religious acceptance. That's okay. I get that. But at a certain point, you gotta wonder, like, where's the line between wacky, crazy people and an actual religion.
Right, like, where's the line between Scientology and the Church of Elvis? I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
The thing with that is, it's just basically, a religion is a cult with time and money.
No.
Yes!
No, see, alright, if you believe that, then you believe Gandhi was in a cult.
Well, he didn't have time or money. He had shit to do.
No, but if you believe that all religion is just a cult with time and money, then you are saying Gandhi was in a cult.
Well,
Now, say those words back to me, and tell me you feel good about that sentence.
Go on.
well, essentially, religion is just an old cult. There's nothing wrong with
No,
it.
it's not an old cult. There's a difference between a cult and a religious order. Alright? Religions don't take advantage of people in that way, at least firmly established, well-run religions.
Yeah, sure.
They are meant to help people. Alright? They are meant to be a vent for people. Cults are meant to brainwash people and keep them as slaves. That's why you see Catholic farms.
Yeah, but I mean...
When you call religions like Catholicism or Islam or Judaism cults, you're making the word cult mean less. So that's actually what the problem here is. When I call something like Mormonism as a cult, then people look at me like, oh, you're just shallow-minded. You'd say that about any religion. No, I wouldn't, because Mormonism is actually a cult. When you call a normal, everyday religion a cult, when you call a religious order a cult, then you are demeaning what it means to be a cult.
But it doesn't mean
and
they can't...
that makes cults less important.
Right, but you can't also deny that oftentimes they behave like cults, not necessarily that they are a cult.
No, cults behave like religions. You're looking at it ass backwards. Cults behave like religions, but once they get their people into a certain level of fanaticism, then they take them further and make them do crazier things. Charles Manson was the leader of a cult. The Pope is not the leader of a cult.
No, and I'm not saying that Catholicism is a cult. I'm just saying
no,
that...
that's the point I'm making. Milan said that
no,
religion
I think to be fair to him, he was saying a blanket statement, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I don't like that blanket statement. I think that's a very stupid thing to say because it demeans cults. And that's not something to do. Yes, it demeans the word, it demeans what it means to be a cult. It's like demeaning domestic violence.
No, I see what you're saying. There definitely is a line.
It's like demeaning rape. Okay?
Well, what Ian is trying to say, and saying it in a very mean way, is that there is a line, and that statement erases the line, and in order to effectively destroy cults, we have to have that line. Is essentially what he's saying, and I agree with that. Although I still have to say, there is some shit that the Catholic Church has done where it's like, wow.
Yes, but that's long ago, and I mean, lots of religions have done that. And if you're talking about more modern things, that's kind of offshoot radical branches. I mean, I've yet to see the Pope come out and say, "You must give your daughters to me so that I may break their chariots."
No, he doesn't. No,
Well, he does,
Ian,
but he
it's not
does
his
say
daughters. It's his sons. God, get it right. Get the
but
gender
the thing
right.
with that, well, he does kind of say some fucked up shit, like saying, condoms are of the devil, especially to Africans. Hey, you have an AIDS epidemic? Condoms don't work.
Actually, the current Pope doesn't want the Catholic Church preaching about birth control that
No,
much.
the current Pope is kind of a badass. He
is. He actually directly responds to people's letters and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice guy. No, I mean, yes, the Catholic Church has a very strong stance against, birth control. But that's just the broad thing, and yes, that gives you unpopular things like, no, people in Africa are not allowed to have birth control. That's a problem, not gonna lie, but it's not a cult problem. A cult problem is when you have people kidnapped from their homes working in fields to prepare for the apocalypse. You see the difference here?
And Milana's just like, well...
There's always a promise of apocalypse.
That's true.
There's always a promise of apocalypse, but the Catholic Church does not kidnap people from their
they
home.
don't do it with physical power, is I think what Milan is getting at. This is getting way off track.
No, you're demeaning what it means to be a cult, and I'm not letting that one slide.
Well, Milan,
because it
again, I'm going to rephrase Ian's anger as something more rational. If you get married and you punch your wife repeatedly in the face, and she is left broken and battered, and they take her to the hospital, and they're like, you're being, reprimanded for domestic violence, and then your neighbor has the same thing done to him because he pinched his wife's ass, is essentially what Ian is getting at. And I do agree with that, but still, I'm gonna say again, sometimes they do cult-like things. But anyway, let me see my favorite issue of Transmetropolitan. Because it too is really good at satire, but just a different focus. I really love the religion issue. It's probably my second favorite issue. My favorite one's still the TV one, because I love characters watching TV. Because I fucking hate TV, and that's why I'm not watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. It has nothing to do with the show. Show's great. I hate the medium of TV, and that issue is all about pointing out, here's why TV's fucked up. Now, there were a bunch of things I laughed at. I love the infomercial with Air Jesus. That was fucking awesome.
You want a pair, don't you?
I so want a pair. I mean, dude, you could walk on water. How awesome would that be? That would help me out a lot today because I closed my pool today. Dude, could have been done in like 10 minutes if I could walk on water. But my other favorite joke was...
Bill, so you could walk on water. The amounts of money you could make from that feat alone. And what you're focused on is being able to close your pool.
Ian, I may be getting Air Jesuses, but I will not lose my perspective, even though I will be hovering. So,
even though you will literally lose your perspective, you will not lose your metaphor.
Exactly. I'll lose my physical perspective, but I'm a metaphorical. That's what makes me strong-minded. You weak-minded fucks. But anyway, my favorite joke, and it's just because, everyone makes jokes about it when we see ads, is the whole subliminal messaging thing, where there's that big flash on the TV, and Shannon covers her eyes, and Spider is just like, ooh, what's that? And he just gets bombarded. And he goes to bed, and as soon as he closes his eyes, there's like 3 different ads playing in his head. He's just like, what the fuck? And Shannon explains it, and he's just like, damn it. And I was like, oh my god, I feel like that so many times when I watch TV. But that's why that was my favorite issue, because I was like, fuck TV and fuck it hard.
You know what? You people might have problems with ads. I do. I do not, because I've literally cut out that part of my brain that pays attention to ads.
My father used to take the effort to grab the remote, mute the television when ads came on, and then unmute it when the show came back on.
My mom does that. I'm like, I don't have that kind of energy. I'm just like,
I know, right? It's like, and it'd be funny because I'd be sitting there on the couch watching TV with him, and I'd be the one with the remote, and I just wouldn't think about it when the ad came on, and he was so annoyed by ads on television. He would go, ahem. I'm like, fine, God, fuck.
Which is funny, because didn't your dad work in TV?
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, he worked in selling a lot of ads.
Now that's
oh my God, the
irony.
is beautiful.
Oh, that's so ironic.
Well, no, that's the reason why he did it, though.
Oh God, that's...
I've had a weird week of irony, and it all kind of culminated on Friday. So like last Sunday night, I'm cleaning up my bathroom, and I pick up a box of Band-Aids, and I cut my thumb on it. Mm-hmm. Like, see, that's irony right there. That's actual irony. Mm. And then what else was it? I talked a couple weeks ago about a guy at work that is in a wheelchair, and once again, there's nothing wrong with that. Buying a pair of stilts, which just fucked with my mind.
Oh, Ian has been ranting about this for almost a month now. Probably over.
Yeah,
just about how much this has fucked with him.
Well, it's something that should be in a really bad sketch comedy show.
Well, also, let me just point this out. everyone, the host of Geeky Gentlemen is one of the most paranoid people I've ever met, because he had multiple conversations with me about trying to figure out what this guy's motive was to why he was doing this. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe he's a clown, I don't know. And Ian is convinced that this guy is trying to make him look like an asshole because he's going to ask about it, and the guy's going to be like, oh, just because I'm in a wheelchair, I'm not allowed to buy stilts, and then he's going to look like a dick. That is,
that's the
freaked out by this.
I'm not literally freaked out by it. That's just a thought that passed through my head and made me laugh.
Multiple conversations with a raised voice.
Yeah, but anyway, no, that, then like a week later, he bought a walking stick.
Right.
So, once again, literal irony right there. And there was something else that passed through my head. God, what was it? Like, ending up in a wheelchair after buying a pair of high heels because, like, you fell down some stairs. That's actual irony. And I'm thinking about all this shit on Monday, and, like, I'm just like, you know, those are real good examples of irony. And yet I always hear this song come on the radio of the girl singing, "Isn't it ironic?" And literally nothing she says is an actual example of irony. And then I'm putting a box away as I'm thinking about this, and I catch what they're playing over the store's radio. And it's that song.
The universe is fucking with you, man. The universe
It really is.
Yeah.
Some days I just wonder about that.
That reminds me, right before I was about to cancel Bondapalooza, it was the night I was going to record the video in which I announced this, and I was working, and I was thinking about, I better cancel it and make the video. And the customer I was dealing with, when I was thinking about this, I rang them up, and guess what their change was?
007.
007. I posted it on my Twitter feed. I was like, what the fuck?
I
was just the universe wants me to review the James Bond movies. I can feel it.
Oh, totally. There's this ad in this book that cracks me up to no end. It's one of there. Basically, it's a bunch of people in old-timey robes in front of a river, screaming for the savior. Oh, savior! Oh, savior! And then we just hit a shot at the water, and we see the shadow of Jesus, and then he steps. The camera sees sneakers, and it's Jesus advertising sneakers that can walk on water. I want those.
Oh. Right? Me too. I really do want those.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. I want...
I like that he's just flying around his apartment after he gets them.
Mm.
And his cat pisses in one of them.
Yeah. Oh, that cat, man. That was weird. I mean...
It's your fucking two-faced...
Two-faced cat smoking cigarettes.
Russian...
With 3 eyes.
No, a cat smoking black Russian cigarettes.
What'd you guys think of the, because, you know, I'm sure we all thought of this when we were reading it. I mean, Spider Jerusalem always has a cigarette in his mouth. Mm-hmm. And the whole time I was thinking, how the fuck is this guy not dead?
They basically have anti-cancer medication.
Right, and then it was weird. The issue where I was thinking about it, because he brings it up directly when he gets his assistant. And then they bring it up, and I'm like, oh, that's brilliant.
Well, I mean,
like,
it's true. I mean,
there is a box of it under your bed. I'm like, this guy thinks of everything.
Well, I mean, that's what I really like about it. I mean, I've said this multiple times on the show. Futurama is the true American sci-fi because it's the sci-fi show that shows what America will actually be like once it has this level of technology based on our current cultural progression. And this really does it too, and that's it just in a more serious way because he's got these. Think about the events that would have to take place in order for this situation to occur. The world would have to be so inundated with people that are smoking and getting cancer that they're actually able to develop a cure for cancer that you can take in a pill form, and still smoking is perfectly legal, and there are multiple varieties of cigarettes that you can buy in giant cases.
Sex puppets. Guys, sex puppets. I had to mention it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, that was funny.
That was funny.
That was fucking funny.
Sex. Oh, God.
Also, I think there was we were mentioning Dark Knight Returns earlier. I think there's a brief and very obscure reference to Dark Knight Returns in that issue. That's my favorite issue. And I don't know if maybe I'm reaching here, but when there's that interview show where they're talking about politics, and the talk show host is talking to the fat red-haired political analyst who is supposedly unbiased. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, is that Lana Lang from Dark Knight Returns? And I really think that's a reference to it, because it's almost like an exact panel from Dark Knight Returns. So
yeah, she has a beard.
Yeah, she has a beard, so obviously it wasn't exactly Lana Lang, but I thought that was a cute reference.
Oh yeah, I also like the scene where I just love the fact when Spider just kind of sits and just abuses talk show hosts.
That was
just
funny.
That was funny. That's what I'm gonna do now, but with telemarketers.
I really liked how defeated he was by the fact that he became television.
That
just on his
awesome.
knees. Oh,
it's like someone just reached into his chest and crushed his heart.
Oh my god, his head in a bucket of eyeballs, his heart completely broken. The sheer just horror in his eyes of him becoming television was hilarious. I love it.
Also, let me just say this. Everything they eat in this universe is fucking gross.
Oh,
I don't know, I kind of want a monkey burger, assuming it doesn't give me AIDS.
If you buy that story.
Yeah, thanks. That's all monkeys have AIDS. Oh, yeah, that is not, like, so completely speciesist.
That's racist.
Okay, Milan, then prove me wrong. Go fuck a monkey and tell me if you get AIDS.
Well, I have
You'll get
several. I have fucked several monkeys, and I guarantee you, none of them gave me AIDS.
Isn't that right, honey?
Exactly.
Fuck your
Little known fact.
I
actually do a really good monkey noise. Anyway.
Join the club.
Oh, okay.
We have we have jackets.
Anyway. No, but Milan. The reason you didn't get AIDS from having sex with those monkeys is because you are actually a giant disease. You're like a living virus or bacterium that infects everything around you.
So Milan, how's your self-esteem these days?
Just makes it slowly deform and melt into piles of garbage and shit.
How'd you know?
So Milan,
oh my god!
If I ever make my own Godzilla movie, I will cast you as Hedorah, the smog monster.
Yeah, and I will.
Perfect casting choice.
Yeah, I will rip Godzilla then. Like,
yeah, so I'll finally have the pleasure of filming that.
Yeah. You're like,
What?
hey,
Bill's just crying behind the camera.
Oh my god, my
Switch to the other angle!
Let's change the lighting! Oh god!
Oh my god. No, I wouldn't be surprised if I walk off set to get some coffee, and frickin' I come back and my assistant director comes running, and it's just like, Bill, you're not gonna believe what's going on. What? Your friend Milan, who's playing Hedorah, he's raping the guy playing Godzilla, and I'm just like, that bastard.
He's like, is he still in the suit? Yes. I don't know how he's pinned it.
No, it wouldn't be even no, you know what would make it even grosser? The fact that I would use motion capture, so it would just be like the basic silhouette of Godzilla, and you still fucking rape him.
Yeah.
So, Milan, you know what I'm gonna do then, because I'm gonna film it? I'm gonna make t-shirts that say, my friend raped Godzilla. That is all.
And
That's the shirt. I want that shirt.
I still love Alex's reaction when we told him about that. It's like, oh, you can't rape Godzilla!
Oh, I like Alex. In a sexual manner. Anyway.
His name
Damn
is
it!
Alex.
Alec.
His name is not Alex. Jesus, man, you've known him longer than I have.
I didn't say Alex, I said Alec.
You said Alex.
I heard Alex.
You guys are deaf, but I love the scene where the bus...
It's recorded. If someone heard him say Alex, please type it down below.
Alright. Nobody will. But, I love the scene where,
Everyone types it.
Spider Jerusalem and his assistant are just sitting at a bus stop with a priest, and she's like, we used to fuck all the time, he doesn't love me. And the priest just keeps giving him dirty looks, like, they're gonna burn in hell, and this and that, and just at the end of the conversation, the priest just vomits when they leave. It's adorable.
Nah, that was an okay one.
No,
I
thought
don't get why he felt the need to vomit.
I don't know.
I mean, they
Because
didn't say
talking
anything
about-
particularly disgusting.
No, but here's the thing. They were talking about everything that a priest stands against. They were talking about sex. They were talking about atheism. And then you've got Spider Jerusalem dressed up in this Moses Jesus fucked up combo where he's got a metal halo and this giant beard and this toga. And
I'm
Like,
gonna
I
go
think
guys, I'm gonna go cosplaying as that. And in the
That'd
next...
be good. If you get some Spider Jerusalem glasses, you could totally pull it
oh
off.
my god, that'd be awesome.
Oh my god, that's what...
Like, Milan, lose a little weight, get the glasses, shave your head. I think you could pull off a Spider Jerusalem cosplay.
I think I would. I think I will. I just...
Get
Also,
a permanent marker, do the tattoos.
oh, totally. I'm just gonna go around to different religious organizations dressed like that and just yell at people.
No, dude, I think you should go to a con as Spider Jerusalem. You could totally pull them off.
I know, that's my plan. That's my plan, baby.
No, but
Okay.
hold on, that issue with the religion, and you have Spider Jerusalem just going around just screaming at all these different religions. And that was the issue where I kind of came up with what I said earlier, that this book is like just about you, because I was like, Milan wishes he could do that and not get arrested.
Oh, yeah. Damn the popo. They don't
That's
let
the
me...
thing I noticed about this book. There are no consequences to his actions. There are consequences to everyone else's actions,
Well,
but not his.
well that's not really true, because he does get the shit kicked out of him by the cops in the third issue.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, but...
And then he does
that
have
was like-
assassins sent after him in the last issue.
Yeah, that's actually not his fault, believe it or not, because I actually read the next two issues.
I didn't, because I didn't have time.
Alright. So his wife was cryogenically frozen,
Right.
and she didn't want to come out until after he was dead.
Right.
So what happened is there's this order that believed, skin on skin contact in the modern age to be the highest sin because it spread, disease and everything, and so they basically live in hazmat suits in this isolated area of the city. And the day his wife gets divorced from him, she drives her car into the complex, wraps it around a telephone pole, walks in drunk, starting asking if anyone can fuck her, and then she pulls off one of the guy's masks and kisses him, which is to them like the cardinal sin that whoever did it, either they have to pay or their next of kin has to pay for it. So they call the police to, get her arrested and all that stuff, but she bribes the cops and they take her home, and the next day she's cryogenically frozen, and then Spider leaves the city for 4 years. So he comes back, and this is why they're attacking him now. So it's actually not his fault that he's being that assassination attempts are occurring.
Right, but that first one is his fault, because he basically live tweets the fucking riot and blames the cops.
Which is interesting since this came out in 97, 98 or
Right?
something like.
Yeah.
It is basically live tweeting though, because you can't edit. It goes directly to a live stream. I'm like, this guy came up with tweeting.
Yeah, Warren Ellis is kind of like the king of tweets.
Right?
Because, yeah, I know. And
Mr.
this is
Twitter ripped off
Oh,
Warren Ellis. There is a lawsuit in the trench.
Totally. Here is a line that really makes me laugh. I always thought people hated me, and then I discovered the priesthood of Odin, and I learned it was okay to hate. That is that is words of wisdom. Here's another one. My life was nothing before I castrated myself. Now God has accepted me. We were never supposed to fornicate. Don't you see? Your clothes are very tight, young lady.
I think one of my favorite lines, and this is probably something that I want to have on a T-shirt. My home appliances are on drugs.
Oh God, that's funny.
That was so amazing. The Got It machine. That was fucking genius. That is something. That's kind of the dream of every single American, that there will one day exist a machine that can create anything out of thin air. Anything. Yep. It's like Star Trek: The Next Generation, except it's on drugs.
So alright, there's this webcomic called Amazing Superpowers, and they did a Star Trek panel where it's like the machine, it's like, this machine can synthesize any food in the universe, just ask for it. And, like, before the guy can finish the sentence, the dude he's selling it about yells, human flesh!
Oh, guys, I gotta tell you, human flesh, it's not as good as everybody says it is. It tastes a little bit like
overrated.
It's okay, but you know, I've tasted it, and it's kind of like pork, but a little bit less salty. And actually, what am I saying? Human flesh is delicious. I'm kidding. You know, human flesh is just. You know, I'm just saying this so nobody else would want human flesh because it's all mine. All of the human flesh is mine for me.
Well, I've been trying to think of a way to decrease the surplus population, and I think we just found it.
Yeah, just bring me people.
The
Just
Geeky
kidnap
Gentleman Christmas
guys.
special. Milan and
what
Ian go around eating people.
Yeah, this is the Christmas special. Basically, you two drive around in an unmarked white van with like chloroform on your hands. And you just
Godzilla's the
kidnap-
driver.
Yeah, and you just kidnap people. And you bring them to me, to my basement, and there we just eat them. I eat them. You guys just film and jerk off.
We just
I-
watch.
You just watch jerking off, and then like after I eat this person, you guys go get me more people. Just never ending, you know, back and forth of just getting people. And this whole thing is on Christmas Eve, so it's, you know, Christmas Eve cannibalism show. You know.
Well, let me just
There's something to market to children.
let me just throw this out there based on that. Now, Milan, you have to draw Godzilla in a pedo stash with a bald spot, aviators, and a cheap Hawaiian shirt. Like sticking out of a rickety white van going, would you like some candy?
Yeah.
Okay,
I have
anyway.
to see that image now. That's your homework for the weekend.
Nah. I'm sorry, it sounds boring, Bill.
Oh, fuck. Your life is boring!
It is. I live in Fort Wayne.
You have stated the fact.
Yeah, here's another line that I really like. Oh Christ, a bright one. Listen, I'll crack a little fucking hole in your head with this fucking great ice pick. You'll feel better afterwards, okay?
I do love that. That is actually an actual cult. These people that drill holes in their heads of varying sizes.
It's also based
to-
on an old medical thing from Kate.
Yeah, but they do it to obtain higher connection with God, so he may directly enter their brains.
Right. But
Also, their witch doctors used to do this to let the pressure out or demons out or whatever.
Right, exactly. That's what it was a supposed medical trick. If you just crack a skull open, it lets out all the demons, so your headache will go away. And there's fossil evidence that people survived this.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean you can survive it as long as they don't penetrate the brain and you keep it, you know, away from infection.
The
which
thing
is
with that is
incredibly hard to do.
Guys, the whole cracking a skull open to let the demons out. I've had a priest try that with me, and it didn't work. He just got possessed.
Well, then it did work. Some demons came out.
Right.
It's just there was an abundance.
No, you don't understand.
The hole wasn't big enough, and it got clogged, so it just kind of healed over.
It just bottlenecked.
Yeah, yes.
That's true, but the thing, this is what happened. He made the hole, and demons came out and took his soul inside my head. And so I have this screaming priest in my head, you know, being tortured by demons forever. They've just refused to leave, and more demons have come into the hole. It's ridiculous. I just have a cork in my head. It just to let them out.
And whenever Milan wants to freak someone out, he's just like, and then they start flying around the room. It's like that scene from Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
All
and
those
I-
spirits come out.
Yeah, and then
I was
float.
just thinking that, Bill.
Yeah, and then I float
Please.
like off the ground a couple of inches, screaming at you in Russian. It's great.
I'm gonna say one of my favorite Ghostbusters parodies ever was the scene from the Nostalgia Critics movie To Boldly Flee, when all the energy comes out of the doctor's office, and the song from Ghostbusters is called Magic when that happens, and in the movie it's called Science, and it's just them going Do you believe in science? It was such a great parody. Love that scene. Love that movie too.
Okay. Yeah. Here's another line. Shut it. Release is an evangelical religion. Did you know that? You know what that means? It means I can stick my ice pick in your fucking brain and call it an act of devotion. You living shit.
Yeah, Milan, are you just gonna read lines?
That's
from
what the rest of this review is gonna be.
Yeah, I just read things to you because I love you.
No, that's your last one. I'm cutting you off.
May I bring up a criticism because we've been kissing this thing's ass for 40 minutes?
Sure.
I had one. Let me just say this: this book was fucking awesome. I have one problem with it, and this isn't really Warren Ellis's fault. Milan, am I not mistaken that the artist in this was the same every issue?
I think so, yeah.
Even still, the art from issue to issue jumped, and it was really annoying. Spider Jerusalem always looks the same because it's a very simple and iconic design, so you always know who Spider Jerusalem is. But I think
Shannon or whatever her name is.
She was a problem because there were certain issues where she looked totally different, and it kind of became a problem with story when, you know, she's in the third issue of the three-issue story arc with the transients, and, you know, she's on the roof with Spider, and she's an ex-stripper, and she's, you know, watching the whole riot. And when Spider opens the door and she comes in issue 4, I think it's supposed to be kind of a reveal, like, what the fuck is she doing here? But because she looks totally different from the last issue, you're like, who the fuck is this?
Exactly. I was just about to say that when you brought this up, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't look the same. The editor, not really.
He changed
it's just
a lot.
That the office looks similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the clothes that you can use to identify. And again, even from issue to issue after that, Sharon changes design constantly. It's like, who the fuck is this? And then when she gets black hair, you're like, stop it, Warren Ellis, you're hurting my brain.
Well, the black hair part worked. I like that she's joined the church.
That was fucking awesome, but
Chris.
just as, like, identifying characters, it kind of became a problem.
Not really. I never saw this as a problem. I could tell who she was. Just a big blonde gal.
Milan, you're gonna have to say something negative about the books right now. Because you always do this. Anytime you pick something, you just kiss its ass, and you never, ever bring up negative. And I want it to be an actual negative criticism. I don't want you to say that, oh, this shoe is in this panel and I don't like it. No, an actual substantive criticism of the book.
All right,
now.
All right. Let's see.
While he's thinking, may I make a joke?
Sure.
You were just saying how you don't want him to just criticize the shoes. That's another criticism I have. Why isn't he wearing the Air Jesuses in issue 10?
Why would he be?
Because he wears them in every other issue after he gets them.
I didn't know that.
Here's a criticism. This is the closest thing to a criticism I can come up with.
Oh, God.
The cat, it pisses everywhere. Why does he keep it? Is that enough of a criticism to you?
No. Because I think you could overanalyze that.
Because it pisses on everything, and he loves it for that.
Right, exactly. It's kind of exactly what he does. He pisses on everything without a moral compass. Because again, as we pointed out earlier, he's going around exposing the truth for no other reason than why the fuck not. And this cat is doing the exact same thing. It didn't have to piss on his Air Jesus shoes. It just did.
I got it.
Okay.
That fucking thing at the end of issue 10 with the fucking vagina neck thing. With the sex
The
puppet.
dog?
No, like it's I don't know what it is. It's the one with that's called Wild Oats. It's just this headless child with an asshole.
Oh, what the fuck was that?
I don't
That
know.
was an assassin that had been after him for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
He thought he'd killed it when he chopped off its head in South America, but just to make sure, he let some homeless guy fuck it and come inside the wiring. And then he threw it in the ocean. but it came back all these years later and was pretending to be his child.
Oh my god, that's fucking funny. But yeah, I thought that was weird. Let me say one other criticism of a particular issue that I did like, but I thought it didn't go far enough. The idea of the reservations was a really interesting idea, and every time they did go into it, it was really well done. I felt like they didn't go into it enough. I felt like
yeah, it was weird. They only spent like 1 page per reservation. Like, I felt like I missed a page or something, especially with that last reservation.
I felt the same way. It was like, and half the time where he was supposed to be in the reservations, he was in the city.
Asking women out and getting turned down in really, really obscene, or really, really crazy ways.
Oh, that was funny. But I felt like they didn't spend enough time in the reservations, because again, awesome idea, awesome commentary, but again, they didn't go into it enough.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It was weird that they didn't go into it. And the other thing I'm trying to figure out is, what is the city exactly? Because I'm getting this impression that it's kind of like, I don't know if this was if it was this way in the comics or not, but I recently saw the new Dredd movie. I'm getting the impression that the city is kind of like the city in the Dredd movie, where it's like it's the size of DC to New York, and that's the entire country packed in there.
Right.
And there's just a little, maybe in this version, there's just a little bit of space outside the city for like mountains and shit. But it really seems that way to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was kind of a point to not name it.
Yeah.
To be like, this is just what America's
land,
like, so it's just the city. Because that's what America is known for, is its cities, so...
Yeah, but they never really talk about stuff from outside the city that
well, they do start off outside the city.
Well, that's the whole focus of the book, is the city.
Transmetropolitan.
I mean, like... No, I'm just wondering... No, it's not a problem with it. I'm just wondering, what is the city exactly? I'm wondering if it's just a really big city. Like, is it like New York, or is this the last remnants of civilization?
You know what the city is? I like to call it New Chicago, Los Angeles.
So you think it spans the entire country, then?
Well, I think it's definitely a microcosm of the entire country. For sure. But I made that joke because it's kind of like, it's every big American city thrown into one.
No, Bill, I'm wondering about the actual, like,
size of it?
The geography of it.
Oh, I don't think it's the whole country. It's the whole country. That would be a little...
No, I'm really wondering if that's, like, all that's left of society and it's all just jam-packed together.
So you think, like, the rest of the country is just wasteland, like in Dredd?
Not necessarily. I think there might be
just
patches.
Yeah.
I think there might be patches, but they don't really talk about outside the city that much. So
I think it's a little bit silly to speculate. I'm sure they go into it in other issue volumes, but you know.
How long did this book last?
60 issues.
Oh, cool. All right, I know what I'm reading next.
No, it's like it's just something that occurred to me. It's not necessarily like meaning anything one way or the other. I was just wondering about that in general.
Yeah, it's something to speculate about.
You know, there is an issue, in issue 11, it shows that he's in France. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but that was 4 or 5 years ago. So you don't really know if anything in particular has happened since then. Well, that was actually more than 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, definitely stuff has happened, because he talks about all the shit that's different when he gets back. So, I mean, it's clear that there has been some kind of great sociological jump since he left the city. So... maybe in the ensuing 50 issues, they explain what exactly was the big event that changed it so much.
Totally. The transients are... The transients, I kind of feel sorry for, because they're just a bunch of water-headed fools. But they're just a bunch of perverts who want to change their bodies, and now they want rights. It's just...
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
No, I mean, I don't think that. I think they're supposed to be just idiot kids.
Well, let me...
Exactly.
Well, let me talk about how I feel about the transients with a quote from Ron L. Hubbard. If you want to become rich easy, create a religion. And that's what Fred Christ does.
Fred Christ.
He doesn't become rich, but he gets to get a lot of alien pussy. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's from, like, 13-year-old girls and shit.
Well, yeah, but it still gets pussy. So, I mean, and that's all...
Why don't you go down to your local middle school?
No, but I'm just saying.
Some tail.
Ian, I'm not saying
Let me know how that goes.
I'm not saying I sympathize with him or agree with him, but I mean that's just what he wants. He doesn't care.
No, Bill's like, if there's grass on the field, then play ball.
Oh God, I am definitely like on Sunday when Ian posts this, I'm gonna get a knock on the door. It's like, Mr. Worcester, are you part of a podcast called Geeky Gentlemen?
Bill's got a T-shirt that says, "If it bleeds, it can breed."
Oh my god.
Oh my God, this is painting me out to be someone I'm not. Anyway, I really wish I hadn't brought that up now. But Frank.
No, it's just the way you said it. It's like, yeah, it's still pussy. I'm like, wow, that's a turn that I didn't think I'd hear come out of Bill's mouth.
Oh well, let me
You'd
just.
expect something. You expect me to say this type of shit, but jeez, Bill.
Yeah.
No, let me make up one other brief, and not really a criticism, just kind of something that bothered me. I think when one of the main characters in the first 3 issues of your book is Fred Christ, you shouldn't have your characters using the term "Oh Christ" because that gets confusing.
Nah, it didn't bother me.
It bothered, and it's not a criticism. It bothered me a little bit. I thought that was weird, especially since Spider is an atheist. So.
So, like, the thing
But
is
like, that comes from an argument that I've never understood. People like I've literally had this argument thrown at me before, where I'm like, I'm an atheist, and the person's like, really? You ever say "Oh God" during sex?
No,
yeah. Well, then you're not really an atheist.
No,
like,
no, I do that
hold
too.
on. What is this going to be like South Park, where they yell, "Oh, science"?
oh, random chance of universal something.
Oh my God, I'm still doing that from now on. No, I do that too, but it was just the context of a character being named Fred Christ that it kind of bugged me.
Yeah. That's a weird thing. I don't understand that. How does that work? Just because I yell for God and sex, that does not mean I believe. Like when I say God fucking Christ, that does not mean I believe there's a Jesus. It's just
because it's a cultural term.
Exactly.
No, I mean, it's kind of become a term that doesn't mean anything. Like I go "Oh Christ" all the time when I get angry, but it's because I don't give a fuck. Like I did get yelled at as a kid because one time I did say Jesus Christ when I was reacting to something, and my mom was like, "Hey, don't say shit like that." I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Don't say Jesus Christ or
and that's exactly what I said to my mother when I was 12.
Yeah. And basically, this is what happens if you say Jesus Christ, kids. Jesus will come down from the sky and eat your face.
That's the God we believe in.
Well, Jesus is a zombie.
Yeah, he is. Either that or he's
It's biblically accurate that Jesus will eat your face if you say his name. That is
it was
in
also
the Bible.
biblically accurate that they never say that Jesus was not a velociraptor. Take that, religion!
Bill, what I really like about that argument is so many times people will use like really odd arguments in that exact format against certain scientific principles. So I always find that really amusing.
Yeah.
Nowhere in the Bible does it say that I have to teach my children science. Well, nowhere in the Bible does it say that Jesus is not a velociraptor.
Exactly. Internet high five, Ian. Yes.
Right. I'm just sitting here. Just
take that, religion.
Yeah.
Milan's just like, yeah, you tell him, Steve, Dave. No.
Yeah.
Bill, I've been using that all week because I caught up on season 2 of Comic Book.
Oh, yeah? Great season, by the way.
Gotta watch that show.
You know, I was just thinking about this today. I meant to ask you about it. And, you know, here on Sid Part 2's channel, we embrace the tangent, so why not? Is it just me, or do they very rarely talk about DC in that show?
Not really.
No, I don't think so. I think they bring up DC a lot. I mean...
Oh, yeah. Like
no, it's just like, I swear, most of the time they talk about Marvel stuff.
Well...
And, like, occasionally DC gets brought up, like, if someone brings something in, but very rarely do you just see DC around.
You know what I think part of it might be? They have a much closer relationship to Marvel, because, you know, whenever... On a show like that, you have to get the licenses to show this stuff without getting sued. And since they have Stan Lee on the show, I'm assuming they got a better deal with Marvel. Which is unusual. I don't know this for sure. I'm just speculating. I didn't notice that though, but they bring up Marvel a lot more in the podcast section.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're making jokes and stuff. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Whatever.
It's just something I was thinking about today. Like, I didn't even notice it actively watching Season 2. I just literally thought of it today. In passing.
Mm-hmm. Good show. Watch it. One of the few good reality shows.
I've seen the...
Well, it's not really a reality show. It's just the geeky version of Pawn Stars, which is pretty much just the cooler version of Antiques Roadshow.
Well, here's the thing I like about it. I like how...
I've only seen one episode. I've only seen one episode of the show of Comic Book Man. It's the one where this old guy with medical problems comes and sells his gigantic, awesome comic book collection.
That was a good episode, yeah.
And they just make him like a giant, semi-Comic-Con costume, like auction thing for him, and he's like crying. I'm like, oh shit, that's sweet. That's some sweet shit.
Yeah, I just wish so much that the show wasn't staged.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're pretty open about it, though, which is something I like, but yeah, it's all staged.
Like, the only one who obviously is not staging it is the guy that Randall is based off of.
Oh, Brian Johnson?
Yeah, you can tell that there's no controlling that man.
Oh, yeah, I mean, because here's the thing, I listened to the podcast, Tell 'em Steve Dave, in conjunction with watching the show, so it's really funny to watch the show after hearing them bitch about it. Because I mean they like the show, but they're very open about like it's not actually real.
Yeah.
Well, I mean all the jokes and everything are come up with on the spot, but all the situations are all staged and everything is staged. I mean there's one episode with ghosts in it, obviously not real.
Yeah.
What? No, ghosts are real when they're on TV.
Of course. Haven't you seen Ghost Adventures?
Yeah.
Dating a photographer. We were watching that episode that you were talking about, Bill, and she's like, "They're not fucking orbs. It's goddamn dust on the lens, people." And I was like, "Yay!" Finally, I have something to say to Bobby's friend Caleb. Because, Bobby's got a friend. His name's Caleb. He was in the movie briefly. He got beat up by Little N. And
is this the guy whose girlfriend got fucked by Little Ned?
Little N. Yeah. That's him.
Okay.
He's like obsessed with ghosts and shit, and he's like, "Yeah, we've taken pictures in my apartment before, and there's like an orb over my head in one of them." And yeah, I'm sorry, I still don't think it's a ghost, but
dude, just tell him to come meet me on Skype. I will tell him some shit. I'm like, hey.
No, I've heard your ghost stories, and they're really just your schizophrenic stories.
So in other words, I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Exactly. But I just want to...
Two Ghostbusters references in one episode. I am on a fucking roll.
Yeah.
No. Milan's like, I've had experiences with ghosts. Disclaimer, I also had schizophrenia in my past, so don't take anything I say too seriously.
Like, we recorded a special last night, and Milan tells this story relating to Cthulhu, which he's told on the show before, so... Yeah, take that statement with a grain of salt. More like a pound of salt.
Well, that's different because that's how he felt reading it. This is like he did a video with Bobby where he's talking about I have a ghost story I can tell you, and it's a really fascinating story, like most of what Milan says. But you get through it and you're just like, well, Milan, you've had schizophrenia, so
I do realize
this is all kind of null and void.
I know, but like, who knows? Maybe I know it's all fake. It's all just mental illness, but still, it's just, I like telling people these stuff. And the thing is, when we were recording, it was midnight for Bobby, and he's just like, "Hey, by the end of the thing, he was just shitting his pants. I love
what? Shitting his pants. But, dude, I've talked to Bobby about this video, and he's like, "Yeah, I was really tired and also drunk."
Let me. You guys
enough.
You guys hear my ghost story?
No.
Oh no, you do. You really do. So.
No, you really don't.
No, you do. So
Nope.
this is last year.
Nope.
Ian, shut up.
Nope. Nope.
No, let's hear
Nope.
this out. I wanna
Okay, fine. Milan wants to hear
Well,
it.
I have nothing else to say about the book, so we might as well, continue with the time. So we got to fill out a couple more minutes, so might as well. Last year on my birthday, we were walking back from Dave & Buster's, and we were talking about shit. And my friend Nicola, who has been on the show before, does also believe in ghosts, and she was telling me about this street lamp by her house that she tells me is like, I think it's possessed. Dead serious. I'm just like, oh no. So I was just like, all right, Nicola, I gotta see this lamp now. So she's telling me about it the whole way while we're walking over there. It's about a 10-minute walk. So she's telling me the whole story, and she's like, it only turns red when you walk under it. I'm like, really? So we're walking towards this lamp. So she's like, every time it happens, I'm always over here, so let's try and do it that exact same way. So she shows me the lamp. It's out, totally dead. So we start walking on over to it, and I'm like, it's definitely going to turn red when I walk under it, but, So walk under it, sure enough, it turns a blood red. So I'm like, all right, it's a little freaky. So we keep on walking, and I'm like, wait, turn around, and keep watching. So we turn around, and about a minute later, it flares red again. And I'm like, how long does it take you to get from the point where you can see the lamp to being past it? She's like, I don't know, like 30 seconds. I'm like, mystery explained. And I walked away with the Mythbusters music behind me.
Okay.
Felt like a badass.
Yeah.
All right. Good for you.
Anyway, I just thought I'd tell that story while it was relevant. I've never told anyone that story, so.
It's okay. We will not make fun of you. We love you.
I will.
What for?
I know. Just.
Well, the story about it was like, oh, and then we got butt fucked by hobos. So.
Yeah, that's how all stories should end. Getting butt fucked by hobos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Milan. Stop talking about your sexual fantasies on this show.
What do I really have to?
Ian, then we don't have a shtick anymore. No one's gonna watch the
Yeah.
show if we don't let Milan talk about his sexual things.
Oh, yay.
Oh, Bill, that's so cute. You think people are watching the show?
Oh god. We're
It's
deluded
sad but
fools.
true. We're deluded fools, but you know what? We should kidnap people and make them watch the show.
Yeah, 'cause that's gonna boost our ratings.
Oh yeah, just tie somebody up to it. And
Well, Bill, to be
Be
fair,
sure
it
to tell your friends about Geeky Gentlemen. They're walking away fucking crying.
Bill, to be fair, it actually would boost our ratings.
Oh yeah.
Because there would be a manhunt, and the show would get mentioned on, like, CNN and shit.
True.
You know,
alright guys,
I've got-
this is
The only
the
problem
science
with
is
this-
down here. Let's go kidnap some fuckers.
You
The
know,
only problem with this plan is that we will not be able to make new episodes unless we all get Skype in prison. And frankly, Bill, I don't think you can survive in prison without becoming someone's bitch.
I don't think so either.
I personally, I think I'll just become the con of butt sex in prison. Just like,
Oh,
hey,
adorable little thing.
just.
Milan, you're too fat to get butt sex in prison. No one would want you.
No, you get love handle sex.
No, Milan, you'd be alone there too.
It sucks. Just like,
On those.
if the only place
I'm
that a
alone.
big, like, that's the only place where I can stand naked in the shower and not and expect a big black man to come up behind me.
That's the only place where Milan has any hopes of getting picked up. That's why he's going to get arrested for something stupid. Sir,
You know,
why
I
I
basically
stole a
like
can
this-
of soup from a homeless person,
Yes, and for this I will be punished badly.
and then I was
Anyway,
left as a homeless person. See, every story has done with that.
Yeah, exactly. All stories must end like this. Hello, children. We're gonna go through the magic wardrobe to meet the lion and the witch, and it all ends with an orgy. That's how things should all end.
No, you got to say
Yes.
the exact line, and then they all lived happily ever after. But then they got butt fucked by homeless people.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Everyone go to
anyway,
the library and
one-
cross out the ending and write that.
Okay, look,
okay,
everyone,
okay,
one
guys,
more thing.
guys.
Everyone. I've got actually a couple of people. I could just rig them up to like chairs with knives on them and make them watch the show on individual monitors. You know, or watch our show. You know, I'll let them go.
It's a podcast.
Well, yeah, they'll listen. They'll just watch the picture that I drew, and they'll listen to what each computer network is saying of our show. It's just gonna be great. Don't worry. I'll just make them rewatch the show endlessly until we have like 1 billion views. So don't worry, guys. If our show
got our back.
Yeah, if the show suddenly explodes in popularity,
You'll know why.
you're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome.
You'll know who to thank / sue.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyway, I think that's the end of it. This was a fun video. We had a lot of fun talking about comics every time we do because we get the liberty to kind of go off into a crazy area.
Yeah.
So everyone, thank you for listening. Let's real quick do our score of the episode, or of the issues we read. We read Warren Ellis's Transmetropolitan, issues number 1 through 10. We're going to judge that as an entire thing. And, gentlemen, your scoring system matters. So, on a 1 to 5, Milan, you're first up. What do you give this?
4.5 out of 3-faced cats.
Okay. How about you, Bill?
I will give Warren Ellis's Transmetropolitan, the first 10 issues, 4.5 got it machines out of 5.
Okay, alright. I will give Warren Ellis's Transmetropolitan, because it needs to be said like that for some reason.
Exactly.
I'll give that book 4 making machines that do drugs out of 5.
Oh, you stole mine and said it worse.
Oh, was that what it was called?
Yeah,
okay,
the got
my
it
bad.
machine. Kick your ass.
Okay, I'll just go for the basic one then, I guess. Let's see here. What's another good one? Give me a second. Alright, I'll give it 4 Twitter feeds out of 5.
Slightly better. If that's acceptable, that'll pass. That'll get you through.
Okay. Bill is the judge, apparently.
I am.
Yes,
I'm self-nominated, just like priests.
Okay, everybody. So there's our scores of Transmetropolitan. Very enjoyable book. I might download the rest at some point. Who knows?
Indeed.
Probably not. I don't read that many comics anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing against the book itself. Here's how good the book was to me. We only had to read issues 1 through 10. I actually went the extra mile and finished off the story arc started in 10 and read issues 11 and 12. So, damn it, I should have given it Talking Dogs. Fuck.
Oh, you fucked up, dude. You fucked up.
Oh, the talking dog. I love that. That's the reason I chose this issue, actually. Was the talking
Really?
dog. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, that was another
Alright.
consequence for his actions.
I guess, but still, it really wasn't because of how that character ends. But anyway.
Fuck by hobos.
Yes. So everybody, next week, it's my topic. We're talking about an idea next week. And we're going to be discussing science fiction versus fantasy.
Ooh.
So that, just to give people a perspective, that's going to be like Star Trek and Star Wars versus like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
Ooh. The
So-
claws are gonna come out on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to get a couple special guests on for this one since we're all... We the three of us lean more towards science fiction, but I'll get a couple people on. I'll get Alec on, obviously, and I've got a friend that I've been wanting to have on the show for a while, so we'll see if he can make it. And he's a big fantasy guy, so we'll see if we can make this happen. All right, so that's a thing, and someone has pointed this out to me, and I'm well aware of it. We are not actually at 100 episodes, okay? It hasn't happened yet. The playlist just has a couple videos in it that aren't full episodes or mini-sodes, so it artificially inflates the number of videos there.
Right.
We're very close to that. We're on 90-something. So in a couple weeks, Geeky Gentleman will be doing its live 100th episode. We'll have special guests that we're getting lined up. We'll have some fun times, and we'll be doing some crazy things. Alright?
You will not be butt fucked by hobos.
We will not.
I'll
That will
be.
never happen to anyone except Milan.
Right.
Yeah, yay, butt fucking.
That's Milan's quote for life. That was his high school senior quote. Yay, butt fucking.
Okay, everybody, so thank you for listening. Look out for the 100th episode live, spectacular, with, fireworks and champagne bottles and stuff.
And blood. Lots of blood.
Disclaimer.
Yes.
The Geeky Gentleman 100th episode will have none of these things.
It's funny because if you look at the cover of the comic. But anyway, so do look into this. Do keep an eye on us. I promise it'll be a really fun time.
We'll have special guests, too. Did you mention that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did mention that. But until next time, everybody, I'm the philosopher.
I'm the fanatic.
And I am the madman.
And we are your geeky gentlemen. And we will be discussing things.
Their penis.